Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It has been quite some time since we were last over here. I've been spending a lot of time lately on the horse track project over in New Hermit Town, and that has been a lot of fun. It seems like a lot of you are enjoying it as well. I have been reading my comments and I've noticed that one or two people want me to come back over here and work on the underground base again, which is what we're going to be doing in this episode. I am inspired at the moment, inspired to go down there and work on a project, which is great. But I said that it's been some time since we were last over here. That is not 100% true, because a couple of episodes ago we did the April Fool's thing, and that was all done on a separate server. That is why my base is still intact. What we did is take a copy of this map, put it on a different server where we had game mode 1, command blocks, world edit, stuff like that, and we just had a load of fun making a whole bunch of crazy videos. So everything here on Hermitcraft is fine, it's all legit as usual, and let's go down below and talk about what we're going to be doing this episode. Now actually, before we do that, I have just been over at the Enderman farm doing some enchanting and repairing tools, and I got this helmet right here on a level 30 enchant, which is really cool, and I've got a whole bunch of diamonds. I got all of these actually from selling things. So I've been selling nether quartz ore to Corrales and Mumbo. They've been coming over here and buying stuff. And what is that back there? That is a redstone lamp, isn't it? Yeah, that's how this room is lit up. So they've been buying nether quartz ore and some other things as well. I think clay is one of them. Look at that, I am running out of clay. I'm pretty sure... Oh no, there we go. So they brought about that much worth of clay. But I've been making some diamonds from that, which is cool. Getting a little sidetracked, aren't I? Let's go down below and talk about what I'm going to be doing. Now, I have rediscovered my inspiration for this project. Let's talk about how I lost it first of all. When we finished doing this bit right here, I got to the end of this part, and we had to build a transition to the room that was going to be behind it, or whatever it was we were going to build. And I spent a lot of time in creative mode trying to do that, and I just couldn't really get it to work. I could never come up with something that I truly liked. And because of that, it kind of felt like I wanted to take a break from this project. So that's why I decided to do the horse track. But the other day I was going around on my server doing what I usually do, teleporting to random people, checking things out, and I came across this one plot which was made by a guy called Jason Hay. He's got a couple of numbers on the end of his name as well, but I'm sure he'll know who I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure he watches my videos, because what he did on his plot is he recreated the entire wastelands. And he built the temple, he built all of the stuff up top, and I went in the temple, I came down here, and he had rebuilt all of this, and it looked amazing. And then I saw that he had actually also come and built some rooms behind each of these. He had built a really cool looking transition. He built some rooms back here that were made out of half slabs like those ones, and stained clay, and it was really awesome. Do you know what, in fact we should go and take a look at it right now. I think that would be much better than me just describing it. So here we are. There are some beautiful things in this area, but this is where my attention is drawn to. Look at this. This is fantastic. He's absolutely rebuilt the entire thing. Now, one of the things that made me laugh was this over here. That is the edge of his plot, and he's even just put in the little bit of the gold farm there as well, which is really cool. But it was going down under here that gave me the inspiration. Let's go down and have a look. You'll see what I'm talking about. See, he's rebuilt all of this area right here. It doesn't look quite the same because I don't have the speed 2 effect on, which makes everything look a little bit bigger. But let's have a look at this transition. He's got some quartz underneath here. I liked how that looked, because one of the things I struggled with was how to get rid of this glass, and it's just ending with a staircase here. This is like a little man cave area, and if we go over to the ones on the other sides, I really like what he's done here. He's made these rooms with half slabs and then loads of stained clay on the walls like that. And I just think that looks ever so cool. And obviously we could do something like this and have some little farms, although I have some other plans for the farms that we're going to be building. Of course we're going to be automating and doing clever things, as always, with redstone and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. And then here is one of the other rooms, and this just gave me the inspiration. This made me feel like I could crack on with this project and get it done, which is great. Now I have something in mind that we're going to be doing. However, I am in the process of redesigning someone else's farm, because they made a really amazing farm and I wanted to build it slightly differently, and I'm going to see if that is possible, and then I have to clear out a large amount of space in which to build this project. So it's going to take me a fair bit of time before I next record, but when I come back we will be talking about that, and then we'll be starting the construction of this farm. So, I have been working away in a creative world, getting this farm ready to be built on Hermitcraft. It has certainly taken me some time, but now that I've come back to working on this, I remember why it is I lost my inspiration. Can you take a guess? It is... Oh, hello. We have a visitor who's just decided to walk into water. That wasn't very smart. But it is the void fog. He looked like he was going to go back in there for a second. No, he's just gonna stand on that half slab, isn't he? Yes, it is the void fog, and it is just a pain. It really winds me up. I've talked about this before, and I've been building a staircase back here, which is going to lead into the corridor where we will build our farm. And I've been doing some research, and the void fog will cut out at Y16, and that is at this height here. Now, it doesn't take a long time to go up the stairs. You can see, get up here in no time at all. But the problem is, from down here, it doesn't look that great at all. See, I think what you want to do is be able to see into the corridor that you're going into. Like, that has a kind of nice view. There's some depth there, etc. And also, the void fog doesn't affect this view at the moment because we have the sunlight above us, but it will affect it when we go into that corridor. However, if we go over here, you will see that it isn't the worst thing ever. You know, it does come quite close, but it's not too bad. And I think it's going to be bearable. And it's time that we just got on with things and did this and stopped worrying about it. So this staircase is going to go, we're going to bring it up to this height here, and this is where our corridor is going to be. So for those of you with a keen eye, you may have noticed this layer of glass down the front. That is because when I was placing the quartz, I thought it might look nice to have the glass wrap around the top and the front as well, and it doesn't. It looks pretty ugly. And when these pigmen aren't hanging out there, I'm going to go in and remove that. But let's have a look at our transition into where our corridor will be. I really like how this looks. I like how the quartz stairs line up with the stairs here. I think that looks really good. And we've got lapis back there because this is, of course, the blue area. But the corridor, I decided I'm not going to build it yet. We will build the farm first. I think it is going to be a lot easier to get the farm in position, which is going to be somewhat over here on the left, and then kind of build the corridor into it. That's going to be, yeah, the easier way of doing it. Now, another thing is that the sky lamp is right there, and it would of course be much neater to have it in the middle of this little bit that's free wide. And I'm probably going to go up there and move the sky lamp, which means I'm going to move it on all of the other ones as well. But all of these other ones will probably have the same transition. We will do something just like this, and they will all go into their own corridor slash room back there, which I think will look pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to start work on this farm. I haven't told you what it is yet. I will explain everything in a moment. But I think the first thing that I need to do is clear out an area to build this farm in. This is it right here. Can you take a guess what type of farm it is going to be? It's an animal farm, it is an AFK farm, and it's going to fit into this space right here. Now the interface for using this, I guess you could call it that, is going to be at the front here where these 4 blocks are. And what I decided to do is make it so that we have room to have the walls go over to the side like this, so they'll be even on that wall and that wall. That's why I put the blocks going diagonal. And I was going to put the front of the farm right here, but then I thought if I give myself a little bit of space, we can kind of have a room to walk into. So somewhere on the other side, and I don't have stone bricks, let's craft those quickly, and we will have like the other part of the entrance like that. So you're going through this corridor, and then you'll go into the little entrance area, and then you'll be able to use the farm. And we'll probably mimic that with other farms on the other side. And I just realised that I have my sounds turned off. Let's turn that back up. They make a lot of noise actually. But yes, this is going to be a sheep farm, and it is going to be a very, very awesome sheep farm. I'd call it a magic sheep farm. It is so cool, and it uses path finding of the sheep. Basically, you manipulate how they look for places to go to, and you can get them to automatically walk through all of the grass that we're going to have inside of here. And as they're walking through, they will eat the grass and replenish it, and they will be going around in a big circle where we will stand at the front here and shear them. Now I'm actually going to hop over to the creative world, and in there I will show you a little bit more about this. So this is the sheep farm that we are going to be building. This was made by a guy called Pi. Right now we are in his test world. He does a load of really great stuff with pathfinding and mobs, so be sure to check out his channel and the video in which he showed this. There'll be links to both of those in the description box. And it was quite some time ago that he showed this. It must have been about 3 or 4 months, and as soon as I saw it I knew that one day I would be building it, and at last that time has come around. Now if you want to learn about how this farm works, you know, in detail, then be sure to check out his video, because I'm going to explain it very crudely. But basically this has been set up so that the sheep here when they look for a place to go to, they're always going to find one with a higher light level, which is going to be these ones down the side here. So then they're going to pathfind towards that position. That will cause them to walk down the end here, and it will trick them into thinking that they can walk on the side over to where it is they want to go, at which point they fall down, and then the same thing happens again. So this gets the sheep walking through the entire farm across lots and lots of grass, going all the way around until they reach this ladder down here, and then they get taken up to the top and sent through an automatic shearing machine, so you can stand here and do some AFK shearing. So the important thing to realise here is that when the sheep are walking over all of this grass, they are going to still be eating it when they're trying to walk to the different places, and by the time they made their way across all of this grass, it's very likely that when they go back up to the top, they will have regrown all of their wool. Now what I've done is I've actually modified his farm. I've kind of changed it a little bit, and yeah, we're going to go into another test world and have a look at that. Unfortunately, I've kind of butchered Pi's original farm where I've been testing with it and playing around, and you may be wondering why there's this big box in the sky. That's because I wanted to see if this would work underground, and it does. But you can see I've been playing around with different designs, and this one all the way over the end here is the one that I've decided to go with. So if we have a look at this, there are 4 different lanes next to each other, and something really important that I've done here is I've had it so each lane has its own shearing bay. And if we go and look at the one on this side, they all come up to one area, they go through one little shearing bay, and then they get split back into 3 different lanes, and then you can see where I've been building and doing stuff over there. So the reason that I wanted to do it like this is so you could pick what colour you wanted to shear, although I realised that there was going to be tons and tons of sheep if we were to build 16 of this. So for that reason I decided that we would build 4, and we would put 4 different colours into each of them. And I'm going to try and group those colours as well in similarity. So maybe if you were going to build something, you might use orange, red and yellow together, and so we'd probably group those in here, so when you're AFKing you get some colours that are relevant to each other. But I also feel like this could be modified as well. Let's say this didn't work and you just kind of wanted to farm all the colours at once rather than moving between each of the different booths. Then down the front here we could perhaps make it so that you stand somewhere around here and look across and you can shear 2 lanes at once, or we could edit and modify it and figure something out. But this design is slightly different from the one that Pi did. I made it so that the sheep go up rather than come down, and the reason for that is so that they would drop down and they'd be nice and easy to shear on this bit. So what they do is the same thing as over on the other farm. They look for a place down here to go to, they think they can get to it, so they walk to the end here, and then they get pushed onto this ladder, shoved up to the top, and then they make their way around. So they go all the way around, they get all the way to the top here, they fall down, and then they go back across, and that is the farm that we are going to be building. So I thought I'd record a little bit of a progress update for you. I've actually done a fair bit over here. Not going to talk about this for too long, I'm just building it. I've done part of the bit at the front where we stand to shear the sheep, and I'm just putting in the glass. I said it wrong, I knew I'd say it wrong right as I was about to say it. We have been putting in the grass, there we go, and the torches and the carpets, and I've just got to keep building it up. And I'm not putting any water in yet. I'm going to do the water last of all, because when I was building this in creative mode I kept destroying a lot of stuff by moving that around. So I will continue to build and I will keep you updated as we go along. So time for another progress update. Things are coming along really well. In fact, we're almost done here. This thing is now ready for the glass and the water, and I've been going over double checking everything, but I think it's all in place. And this is the last bit to do over here. This is where the sheep come up and drop down to the bottom. So I've still got that to construct, but that's mainly built out of glass, so that's why it hasn't been done yet. But this thing has come together a lot quicker than I thought it would. It looks not that big now that I've actually built it in survival. For some reason it kind of looked a little bit bigger in creative. But another thing has crossed my mind recently, which is that we don't actually have any sheep down here. We have all the other animals, but we don't have sheep, so that is another thing I'm going to have to sort out as well. So now everything is pretty much there. There's not really anything else to do. This thing is ready to go. It needs some sheep. I also need to do the redstone for this bit at the front, but as it stands right now, if there is a sheep in here, it is going to pathfind its way to the end. It's going to go up all the way back and around and up and down and back and forth. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It will make its way all the way to the top, fall down, and then do the same thing over again. So I was thinking, before we get some sheep, because that's one thing that we need to do, and before we build this redstone, which is the other thing we need to do, that maybe we should work on making this into a room. Now the room that the player is going to see will be this bit right here at the front, where they'll be able to walk up to here and stand. But with a lot of this made out of glass, you're going to be able to see what's going on behind this. So I thought what we should do is tidy this up, and I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I also have no idea what I will be doing. I've got to think about what materials I want to build, but basically the floor, the walls, all of that stuff I want to change and replace with some nice materials. And I'm also thinking about digging back this wall as well and having like a viewing balcony, so you can walk up some stairs here on the side and then walk back and forth and see what's going on in the farm, which I think will be a pretty good idea. As I said, I have no idea what materials I'm going to use, so I'm just going to take my time, figure out what I want to build, and I will show you it when I've made some progress. So I figured if I'm going to be doing some building and I don't have any sheep, I need to go get the sheep first so I can be breeding them in between building. And look at these guys, they are the derp squad. And one of those is really close to falling down below and dying actually. Look, there's a drop there. But just walking along like this, having them all run towards you. Oh, it's such a derpy game. And I've gone right past the portal building, haven't I? This is where we need to go, and I'm sure getting them through the nether is not going to be straightforward, but I will certainly try. And these doors are going to be our first obstacle by the looks of it. Yep, this is going to be fun. So, I learnt my lesson from last time. Let's go through this portal. Come on, guys. This should be nice and easy. Actually, if I go further back this way a little bit. There you go, they've all gone through, so let's follow them. And you'll see this time I've done it correct. Yep, that's right. I set up a portal down the bottom here. That has made things a lot easier. Let's grab these guys before they wander off into the water, which is the most predictable thing for them to do. There we go. There's the fourth one. Excellent. And we've lost one. How did that happen? Where did he go? So instead of building, I have been breeding. It occurred to me that I should probably get this out of the way first of all, as it is quite a time-consuming task. You know, you have to breed them and wait around, and I can continue breeding these guys now when I'm doing some building. But we have 4 of each colour. I've literally just finished dyeing them after I spent some time, you know, getting them all into each of these pens. Now I've grouped these into groups of 4 as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with these, but we're going to have 4 different colours in each of these 4 different chambers for the sheep, and I'm not sure how many of each colour we will have as well. I'm thinking 8 at the moment, but I might go as high as 12 or 10 or something like that. But we don't want too many entities down here, you know, a lot of sheep could cause some lag. But this is our first group of 4 colours right here, and our second group would be these 4, and our third would be these ones, and these 3 colours make a lot of sense together, whereas the brown is kind of the odd one out. And then last of all would be these 4, our greys, our black and our white, which makes a lot of sense. Now I was wondering maybe what I could do is mix the darker colours together, so we could have brown, purple, blue and red, and then maybe have some of the more medium ones like orange and cyan, and then we could put the brighter colours like yellow and light blue. So we might do it that way round when we actually put these guys into the farm, and that is another challenge in itself. How am I going to get them all in there? I'm not sure at the moment, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to figure something out. So I also tried building some walls down the back here. I tried out a few different designs, and I just don't have a vision, you know. I don't see something that quite matches the farm, and because of that I've spent a lot of time in creative mode, you know, trying out different wall designs, and I've got quite a few that look good. I'm just not sure what one is going to match this, but now that we've got the sheep breeding done to some extent, I guess we can crack on with this, and hopefully I'll find the right design for this room. So I've spent an unreasonable amount of time working on different wall designs, only to find out that you're never really going to be able to see too much of it anyway. So I settled on something very simple, which I wasn't too happy with. But the problem here is we're trying to build something and I'm trying to make it look nice, but you just don't have any room to look at it, you know. I don't feel like making a massive room around this farm. I've done enough digging as it is, so I've settled with something very simple. We have hardened clay, it transitions in a diagonal into orange clay, and then you've got dark oak wood and then slabs at the top and bottom. And even when you're standing down here, it's kind of hard to really step back and look at it because it's so close to this farm. So I think it's going to work out as being alright, but it's certainly no work of art, which is what I was initially trying to do. Another thing I have to come up with is the roof, and that's probably just going to be slabs going all the way across. Maybe I'll add some wood in as well. And then on this side things are going to be slightly different. I think what I want to do is have this shape right here. It's like a U shape. I'm going to have that about halfway up on the bottom bit, and we're going to separate the hardened clay and the orange, and then we will have like a viewing balcony going across the middle, and that's going to run all the way down the side here. Or maybe not all the way, because there'll be a staircase at the end that leads down to somewhere around here. So that is the plan for the wall on this side. Then we will have our viewing balcony as well. I've still got to do the redstone. I've still got to put the sheep in. There are quite a few things to do. And I've really wasted a lot of time working on this wall. But now we know exactly what we're doing. So I think I'll finish that. I'll finish the roof, and then we'll figure out what to do next. These guys, they do drive me mad. They make a lot of noise. All that barring and clucking going on. There are a lot of animals around here. But I have finished doing the walls and the ceiling as well. All of this is done. I've tidied up this front area. I've even put in the redstone as well. And one thing I haven't done is the viewing area. I think I might leave that for another day because this has taken me a long time. But that's going to be it right there. So you've got a nice view into the farm, although it's fairly close, so I don't think you're going to be able to see too much, but it's nice to have that as well. The redstone is also done. You can see the clocks down here, so we can come up the top and test that quickly. So it's a slow one. There you go. It does click ever so slowly. It doesn't really need to be fast because it's just for when your shears break and you're standing here. But another thing I need to do is add a door to these back hoppers and then put some glass around this, just so you're actually standing in a little bit of a booth. But the reason that I haven't done that is because the next thing we have to do is get the sheep in here. At the moment you can see we've got this gap in the glass so they can get in, and this is where the fun happens. We've got to move them all around into here, which I think is going to be relatively straightforward. What I'm thinking could be a problem is once they're in, if they go around it really quickly and start falling back down, they might land here and try and get out, or they might land on the dropper and die, or take fall damage, which is another thing to consider. But hopefully it'll go okay. I haven't had the best of luck with animals lately, although I was ill at the time, of course, when we moved all of these ones down, and I managed to screw that up, but I think we'll be alright, and I think I'm just going to keep them in these groups. I don't need to overthink it. We're going to have these 4 in the first section, these 4 in the next one, and so on, and so on, and it'll be pretty straightforward. I also might want to colour code this at the front, like maybe have 4 of these glass blocks, or maybe some of the blocks on the ground will show you the colour wall of the one you're doing. But anyway, I'm going to get prepared. I've got to think about how I'm doing this, make sure not to make any mistakes. We want to bring these sheep through into the cells nice and safely. One of the things that's going to annoy me is if some slimes get in there, but... So I think we are now ready to go. I've just set this little bit up here for our first batch of sheep. We're going to put these 4 in first of all. They're going to be in a group together. Then we're going to have these 4 over here, and then the greys down the end. I decided that we would just leave it how it was, because I'd probably be overthinking it if I were to rearrange them. And we have 8 of each sheep, by the way, which means we have 32 in each of these, and that's a total of 128. Now I probably would have doubled that, maybe not double, but would have put in a lot more. However, we're going to be having our other animal farms over in this section, I think. So on this side you've got your sheep farm, on this one over here there'll be another sorts of farms, and because of that I just figured we'll keep the numbers down. Anyway, let's do this. I think I'm prepared. I've got some wheat to lure them. I've got some leads. And I've got an axe to break the fence. And out comes the slime. Take that. That's that problem solved. And now we just got to lure these guys through. Now we're going to have all of them coming through at once. They don't necessarily need to be going through in a particular order. There we go. It took a while, but now, now they're following the wheat. So come over here, guys. I'm just going to break this so the rest of them can start coming through. And I don't know how this bit is going to work. I hope they're going to nudge each other in there. It might take a while to get them to do that. Let's break some more of these fences. Right. Oh! No, that's not good. Oh no. Do you know what I'm going to have to do now? I'm going to have to wait because I need another yellow sheep. So I'm going to have to breed them and wait for one of these to grow up. Okay, that little guy has grown into an adult now. It is time to crack on with this. We've got a couple more of these guys here as well, which is not good. Let's break the fence where there are no sheep nearby. There we go, right, I think we're good to go now. Let's lure these guys around, and that is right, I blocked this off. Okay, make sure that one's not in the way. And it seems to be a little laggy. Sometimes when you hold this wheat, you know, it takes a while before they notice. And if I change item, they'll all notice right as I change it, watch. See that? Knew it, predicted it. Ah, this is kind of annoying. Do you know what? Do you know what? I think I'm going to relog. Something's not right here. There we go. A relog fixed it. Now they all want to come towards me because I got the wheat. Let's see what happens when I stand over here. Right, we're going to let them do their own thing now. Are they going to go in? Do you know what? I think it might be a good idea for me to stand in there with the wheat and then ender pearl out. Because it doesn't look like they're going to go through. I think the reason might be because this is a one wide gap, but we've got the fences on either side, so they're going to come up to the edge like this. Yeah, it's certainly not working. Okay, let's try this with wheat. We have most of their attention. Then we're going to go into this area like so. They're going to get stuck, aren't they? They're going to get stuck and they're going to derp around. This is not good. Not good. So we're trying a different approach this time. You can see I put up these walls, so they're going to be in line with the gap that we have there. Hopefully this will work, because otherwise it's going to be a real tedious thing to get them all in there. Looks like we've got their attention at the moment. Let's walk back here. They're going to come all the way through. I think they are. I think I could probably stand here now and just watch them all nudge each other in. Yep, it looks like that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to get them all in there. Hopefully nothing will go wrong. It's probably going to take me a while. But we are making progress. This is good. This is good. Okay, this guy is the last one to go in. I've noticed some of them have actually been pathfinding their way into there. And I do believe that's because they can smell the grass, so to speak. But they're all out of this pen. Let's now go and have a look and see what they're doing. Hopefully this works now that we build it here on Hermitcraft. It certainly looks like it is. Look at that. Oh no, something's wrong here. There's a block. Oh dear. I have completely screwed this up. Right, I don't think I'm going to... Actually, do you know what? Saving these guys will help. What I'm going to have to do is rebreed these, because some of them will survive, but most of them won't. Come down here, guys. There's a way out for you now. Nope, you're just going to go up there. Well, I double-checked it, triple-checked it, thought I did everything right. Let's get these guys out of there. Come on, we need to... No, I've lost all of them, haven't I? They're just stuck up there. Brilliant. Okay. Don't worry, we will recover, we will recover. So I've now fixed the farm and spent a lot of time moving all the sheep inside here. And it seems to work really well. There are always sheep falling down at the front, which looks really cool actually. I think one of the things we might have to do from the corridor is raise the roof here a little bit, just so you can see up to the top and see the sheep falling down. But I think if we were to put any more sheep in there, it might have been a little overpopulated. Now another place that we want to go and have a look at this from, and there are just slimes everywhere. I'm pretty sure I built this in the middle of a slime chunk, by the way. Let's take care of those guys, and then go down here. Yeah, and you can see that it's pretty well populated. Let's go up a little bit. Yep, that's a pretty good sign right there. Lots of them on each layer. That's what I like to see. So it is working. But I just have to breed those other animals now, which is going to take a little bit of time. What I did was I bred some of the groups that came through, and thinking about it, I should have actually bred more of them because I took down with me 8 dyes for each of the sheep. But I guess now I've just got to breed them while they're growing up. So a little more breeding and then this thing will be done. Well, that fiasco is now over. All of the sheep have been bred and put inside our farm, and it is a sight to behold. There are always sheep falling down, which is really awesome to see. But I think it might actually be a little bit overcrowded. If we go and look round the side here, you'll see what I mean. Sometimes they are all squashed up together in there, like they are down the bottom here at the moment. It probably is overcrowded. It probably should have been a little bit bigger, but it seems to be working, which is a good thing. And I've been doing some testing as well, and I found a couple of problems with this, which means we're going to have to do a little bit of redesigning. But when I was standing here and doing the automatic shearing, I found that what could happen is the drops of wool could land on top of this dropper, and then if your inventory was full you wouldn't pick it up. Now one of the reasons your inventory might be full is because you're trying to rotate through the shears. So the way that works is the dropper gives you new shears and the hopper picks it up if you don't have room in your inventory. So then when you right click you get the new shears. Now that could be a problem if you pick up the wool as well. So to fix that, what we're going to do is move the dropper back by 1 block and just have the water where the dropper is now, which should solve the problem, unless I've overlooked something. But there is another problem which we're going to fix as well when we move all of that back, which is down the bottom here. If you have a look at these torches, they are powering the droppers above them, which is locking the hoppers. So when I was doing some testing here, you can see that all of the drops got caught up in the hopper because this was locking it. So we have to redo the redstone, we have to redo this as well, so a little bit more work and then this thing is going to be finished. So I think we are now done here, but I've also been thinking that maybe we need to do a little bit of redesign here, because now the sheep are a little further away from the player when we stand over here. So if you have a look, the sheep aren't going to go into this bit here. Actually, that right there is what I had a feeling might happen. So yeah, some sort of redesign is definitely in order. So the problem here is that this guy is getting nudged back by the ones in front of him. So if they keep falling down, he's going to stay there, and then when we're shearing him, if he's always in front of us, it means we don't shear the other ones. So a little bit of redesign needs to be done, and I've done the redstone down below. Let's go and have a look. It's actually going to be a little bit awkward to see. If I remember correctly, there is redstone dust under that one. Then there is another repeater down here that points into a redstone torch which powers this block and this redstone at the back. So we're powering it from up above, and when we don't do that, then the clock happens between the two repeaters, and you can see that now we are powering this one directly, and I was thinking about powering it indirectly, so we would power a block that was next to it, but then it wouldn't power the dropper above it. So it's powering that one directly. It means this one right here is going to be locked, but all of the other ones are going to be able to flow. And I also made it so this is off by default, so when you stop using it, then this one here, the items will be able to go into that one. So it's a good redesign. And another thing, this redstone right here has reminded me of something. I ran out of redstone while I was down here, and I went running around in the caves just looking for some rather than going back up to the top, and the whole time there was some redstone ore right there. But there you go. So a little redesign is in order, but I think in between episodes I'm going to be testing this thing out, doing some AFK farming, and I guess that means I will see you in the next episode. So if you've enjoyed this one, please do leave a like, it will always be appreciated. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.